go. Playstuff TV is live.
Some stuff.
Uh,
There we go. Yeah, it's working. I just need to tweak the position a little bit. And that should be coming through. My audio is going to be delayed. I haven't set a webcam up separate to the Google Hangout, so had I known that these guys weren't going to have a Google Hangout video camera, I wouldn't have bothered with it. We could have done it in voice chat, and I could have had a much clearer picture to host the show, but it doesn't matter. We're going to get going. I think the best thing that we can do to start off with is explain the format of the show and what we're trying to do here, and I'll do that. We are developing a game at Playstuff, and we decided that because it's a community full of people who'd like to know more about the game but maybe can't keep up with regular posts made full of detail and minutiae that they're not particularly interested in, that we try and do a weekly show that keeps everyone up to date with what's going on, gives everyone the opportunity to be more involved, and allows the various heads of the different teams to give us their feedback and keep us up to speed of what's going on. And I'm going to play the part of the stupid fool, which is just so easy for me. And I'm going to be asking the questions that hopefully you're wondering about, and these guys are going to answer those questions. My role in the project is mainly on the sound design side. I'm going to be helping or managing the development of the sound design with Osemo, who's another member of the community, and he's in chat here. You are there, aren't you, mate? I don't know if he's got a mic actually, but he's definitely.
Osmo says that he is in chat, but he rolled over his mic yesterday, so he's waiting for a new one.
No worries. Okay, well, me and Osemo are going to be working on the sounds. The sounds are going to develop more clearly as we get used to the game, and we'll sculpt sounds appropriately. But currently we're thinking a little bit industrial, mixed with our own flavour. We don't want it to be too heavy and too industrial, and it's got to suit the game. So we're working on preliminary sounds for little bits of the game, but as we're at such an early stage, we haven't got a great deal of progress made yet. Although we do have a massive catalogue of music that we've previously produced. Both of us are keen music producers and have plenty of experience in that area, so we shouldn't have too much difficulty. It's going to be new and exciting doing game design.
Sure, it'll be amazing.
Yes, absolutely. So I keep getting different names popping up at the top. I think these are people trying to join the Hangout. Let me just see. Mr. Brick is in chat. Stream chat is broken.
That's good.
May well be broken. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Twitch are having problems with their chat servers. It's not ideal, but you can tweet to me with any questions you've got at Logan PS, Logan_PS on Twitter. That's a really good, quick way of getting messages to me. I will then put your questions to the developers, and you can also join our chat channel, Playstuff Studios, which we've opened to the public for this event, and that's on Steam. Just type Playstuff Studios in and you'll find it, because a lot of you don't have Twitter accounts, being gamers and not social media whores, which is all very good. I'm trying to keep track of Playstuff Facebook feed, Twitter, and the forum and Google Plus at the minute, and it's just kind of being a bit confusing. So we were going to call this show I'm Confused, because I am quite frankly very confused, but we're calling it About the Game just because it's a simple reflection of what we're doing here. Right, so what's this? James Uskin. Oh heck, was this the Awesome Game interview? If it's still going when I get home, I'd love to watch. Oh right, okay, so he's the Awesome Game interview that he was meant to be part of, I believe. Anyway, it's the first week, guys, so this is a pilot, really. We'll learn a lot from the mistakes that we make today, and we'll improve it for next week. And if nothing else, I can just flick through my different scenes and amaze you with little crazy bits of video like that. And I will be right back. Placeholder. and then back to us. But yeah, we've got the basic production ready to go. We're streaming in relatively low res, about 480p, but we are taking a local copy here, and we'll upload that to YouTube at 720p for people that don't see us live. So I'm going to kick us off now. I think I'm Logan from Playstuff. I think I should probably hand over to Lemmines to start off with, who is the man with the vision. He's the man who's...
That's me.
It is indeed you. He's the man who's writing the lore. I'm going to highlight your face. There you go. He's... oh, did we just get a blank? There we go. There we have Lemmines. He's going to be doing all the lore. He's already written a lot of the lore for the game, which is deep and exciting. And the other guy that we've got here today is Eagle, who's I would call him the lead developer. He's been doing... Hello, mate. Hey, he's been doing a lot of work so far on getting the basics right, getting the engine ready for us to build the game. We do have some little clips that we could play you later, but it's so early stages really. They're just proof of concept clips. So for this episode, at least, I imagine we'll be light on media and heavy on gibberish, which hopefully will...
Everyone loves gibberish.
Everyone loves gibberish. I can't get enough gibberish.
There's going to be a lot of gibberish, I feel.
Yeah, I mean we're not in any rush to kind of keep to a schedule through the show, guys. It's really a meeting that will inform anyone interested in game development of the process we're going through. I can tell you that to start off with, we've set up our own forum section, obviously, to discuss it. We've got various different departments of the team. They're all going to be coordinating well with weekly meetings separate from this and making sure they know where they're going. But there's obviously going to be leads that kick everyone up the arse and keep them progressing, including myself, Lemmines and Eagle. We have Equinoxo, who isn't with us tonight. He's one of our lead graphic designers, responsible for such lovely things as this. My favourite thing, in fact. The little place to find. We will have the game in the background when we have more graphical material for the game. So, oops. Yeah, let's kick off then. I'll pass over to Lemmines now, and I'm going to say to you, mate, what is it? What's it all about? What type of a game is it going to be, and what's the lore of the game?
Okay, right now it is basically a tower defense game with RTS elements. That's the idea we're going for. It's not much more to go from that. I mean, if you have any more questions about it. In terms of lore, though, it's basically a city that's on a piece of rock that's been shoved out from another planet, which there's a lot more to go from that, but it's dark, it's not very pleasant, it has constant sandstorms, and it's not a fun place to live in, but all these people are stuck there, so it's just... Basically, what you are is that you are the head of this city, and you're trying to protect it from another city that's attacking it. And I know it sounds thrilling, but I promise it's more fun. Probably more fun when we play it.
No, it sounds great, mate. I mean, it's a basic premise, isn't it? I mean, I must admit, Lemmines is a lot less brief in his writings on the forum regards to the lore.
Oh yeah, it's much longer. If you're much more interested in it, I could get more into detail, but
I'd like to hear.
Sure.
I have to say, there's probably a lot more to be said. That we've done a lot. More in terms of story than anything else at this stage. Like the concept is mostly based around that storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, go into a little bit of detail, mate. It's really fine. Here we go. I'm getting a message from Equinoxo. So what's he saying? Crap, missed your message earlier. I've got my head totally buried in uni work at the moment. No probs. Okay.
Hey there, Sloth.
We have Sloth joining us.
All right, so I'd say
can anyone hear me?
Loud and clear. Welcome, mate.
Yeah. Another person with a
Thank you. I hope
webcam.
you're not getting echo from my speakers, because apparently Google doesn't want to go through my headphones for... I don't know.
No, you have some noise cancelling going on, mate. It's absolutely fine. Crystal clear. coming through great.
Excellent. Hello, everyone, by the way. Sorry I'm late.
Hello. No, there's no late in our world. Just doing it eventually. Lem, you've given us a little brief summary of the game. We get that. Yeah. I get that it's a tower defense game. I get the nature of it. But give us a little bit more detail. It's the first episode. It's a good point to start, giving people a little bit more rather than a little bit less. And then we can pass over to Eagle and hear how he's taking that lore and implementing it in the engine we've chosen, what engine we've chosen, and how he's getting along with the coding.
All right, I'm just trying to think of where to start because it is a very extensive lore. But I guess I'd say that these planets were created by a man who discovered how to create planets, basically. And this planet was the very first one to be built, so it was kind of defective.
Yeah.
So there's this machine in the middle that was keeping gravity down on the planet, and it malfunctioned and caused the whole planet to crack into pieces, and one piece got the brunt of the attack and just kind of got pushed out even farther. And because of the machine that's in the middle that's pushing the chunk out, it's pushing out like electromagnetic fields and infrasound and like really unpleasant things that make it very hard for these people to live. And so they're basically stuck on there. It's dark. It's not a nice place to live. It's been a little while. In our game, it's probably been about 175 years since the chunk got pushed out. So it's not a nice place. It's cold. It's dark. It's unpleasant. And so they got stuck there. And right now, basically, what's happening is that the gravity machine that's been pushing out this infrasound and electromagnetic fields makes these people become very paranoid and not very pleasant, because they all the time they're just really tense because they feel uncomfortable all the time. So right after the planet got blown into chunks, the city got destroyed. The head of the city, which the city's named is Italium because it was founded by an Italian family when the planet got built. But the head of the city got killed in the destruction, and in the interim, they've been trying to find another person to be head of it, and that's basically you. You get told that you are now the head of the city, and you need to protect it.
Cool.
And so that's what you're doing. You're protecting the city in this very unpleasant chunk of land.
And is this going to be in a traditional kind of tower defense style?
There'll be traditional parts to it. It'll have a it's not. We're not going to call it a day and night system. It's actually going to be sandstorm and no sandstorm. But basically, during the sandstorm part of it, you're allowed to go out and build the towers. Like you'll send out little. The idea is you'll send out like little machines or something that'll go out and build the towers for you during the sandstorm, because people can't really be out there because it's very unpleasant. And but during the nighttime is when the little the people from the other city come out and attack, and you can. The idea that we have is we would like you to have little soldiers that you can send out to attack as well as having towers and other various things that you can set up, like barracks that you can send out your soldiers from and other things like that.
Cool. Well, while you're talking, I'm going to just show the guys watching a little bit of the concept art that Goomba's made, which kind of will give them a little bit more detail, a little bit more insight into where we're heading. If I just press my scene number 3, there we go. You can see a broken planet. An overview of the Pilgrim Village. If I could max that out, it would be ideal. There we go. Terrible production skills by me. Here we go. there's the Pilgrim Village again. As you can see, Goob a talented artist.
Oh yeah, Goob is amazing.
Yeah, and this is the kind of stuff that is inspiring the designers and inspiring the development of the game. I'm just scrolling through it here. It's got some characters there.
The one of the very bright room, that's actually a picture, the actual drawing of an inside of the building from the Italium, the city that we're going to be protecting.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, the graphics are stunning so far that Google's done. They're just quite mind-blowing. It's going to be interesting seeing Equinoxo translating them into a lot of them into 3D and real environments.
I'm pretty excited about getting him to, because these were all done back when I was just filling out the lore, and we didn't really have an idea for a game yet. So, like the Pilgrim Village probably won't have much to do with the game. That dude, the little ninja guy that you had up there earlier, that's actually a Strophian, which they are from another city that's on the disjoint, and which it's the little chunk is called a disjoint. There's 4 of them from this planet, but those guys actually go around and they're kidnapping people from the 2 cities that are warring, because they actually believe that these 2 cities that have actually been warring been attacking each other since before the catastrophe happened, and they believe that the warring cities caused the catastrophe, that they're kind of like karma in a way.
Okay, yeah.
So they go around and they kidnap the people and then take them back to their city and throw them off the side of the disjoint. Hopefully, I guess they hope that eventually they'll get them all, and once all both of these cities are dead and gone, that the disjoint will connect back with the rest of the planet. But they're actually a little delusional, because that won't happen, but that's what they think.
No, cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. I'm just getting sent some more concept art from Hawk here. Let's just open that up. Ah, yes, this. Let me just see if I can move this into a separate window so I can position it a little bit better for the stream. Do you want to talk us through what we're seeing on the stream at the minute? Which is
Can I can't actually see the stream, so I was going to mention something about what Lem was saying about the day-night cycle, but
you can do that in a minute, mate.
Showing things on the stream.
Yeah, go on, Lem. You talk us through this concept art, which is quite fleshed out actually, and is actually a 3D model that Equinoxo has built, I understand.
That is a relativity machine, which that one specifically is Ignatius in relativity machine, which is the one actually used to create planets. Basically what it does is it takes energy and converts it into matter, and that's how the planets are created. They take that's the inside of it. There's actually an exterior part of it that's just like the main core of it, and then it sends out the matter that it creates to create the planet. So
awesome
that
stuff.
is what that is.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, just giving the guys a bit of context, really, watching it's kind of rather than leaving it all as an abstraction for the time being. But cool. Back to the hangout. So we've covered the basic lore. We've covered the vision, which is very much a vision that Lem is realising based on stuff that he's been thinking about for years and writing about, and so very detailed, very fleshed out, and exciting to see it kind of get implemented into the game. Let's move on now to my questions of Eagle, really, and Sloth, who are the guys doing a large chunk of the coding. Sloth, you wanted to just chip in. Moving back to what we were mentioning before, so why don't you do that?
I did. I was going to talk a little bit about at least how I see implementing the day-night cycle, which is that the impression I got from Lem talking just now is that he was looking to actually sort of send things out during these sandstorms, frozen dust storms, whatever they are. And I think from a gameplay perspective, that would be better served by actually having it more as a planning phase, where you say, you know, the moment this sandstorm stops, this group of people are going here to build this tower, and this group of people are going here to build this tower. And then the moment the sandstorm does stop, you know, everyone rushes out, and there's a frenzy of activity based on the things that you've actually done.
Yeah.
So you actually get a moment as a player to rest from giving commands and actually just watch for a very short period of time everything that you've set up as orders being carried out, as the invaders are coming from their hideouts far away from the city and marching towards to begin the assault again. So you have the day cycle, which is the non-sandstorm cycle, where you're doing all the RTS elements and you know, desperately trying to work out whether you've placed your towers correctly and where you need to use your extra RTS abilities to hold back the invasion. You've got the night cycle, which is pretty much pure planning, and then you've got this little window in between, which is there for you to, as a player, to basically kind of enjoy the visual splendor of everyone rushing around and crazily trying to build these things in time. And you know, when you get to the higher levels where you've got more complicated towers, it might take them some time to actually build that. So they've got to do it, you know, while the invaders are still actually coming in.
Yeah.
And I think that might give it certainly a different kind of feel to the way most tower defenses work, and I think it will work well with the concept that we've got.
Yeah, for sure.
Particularly if you imagine just how hostile these storms are going to be. We're talking pretty much gravel, which is at about sort of minus 50 degrees C without wind chill. And then it's just going to strip anything that's out there to death, you know, like a cartoon piranha, basically. Within a few seconds, it's a really hostile environment.
Not somewhere you can go for a stroll.
No, they're not.
And kind of cool, kind of cool because obviously the attackers are going to be under the same constraints as the defenders for the same period of time, as you say, with their distance and proximity to the defenders, giving the defenders time to prepare for their arrival. So, yeah, I'm liking that an awful lot. I'm just trying to see, has Equinoxo actually done any mock-ups of stuff so far? I'm just looking on his YouTube channel.
I don't believe so.
I did a couple of renders that were pretty quick.
Get kicked out of uni for not doing any uni work, so he might be busy at the moment.
No, he is for sure. He's messaged me tonight to say he's real busy. Does someone want to send me a link in the Steam chat room to well, Eagle? Do you want to give me a link?
Why am I not in that?
Yeah, I'll see if I can grab it. One sec.
Cool.
It's pretty low resolution.
No, that's okay.
Hawk was actually suggesting that I talk about how I came up with my incredibly involved story, and all I can say is that I started working on it in 10th grade, and I'm in my 4th year of college, so it's been a while. Which I guess I don't know if you guys have a 10th grade, but either way, it's been 7 years.
We do, but it's well beyond my memory. It's yeah, I think that everything was in black and white back in then, including. Yeah, Sloth, you've been invited to the channel, mate.
Yeah, cheers.
Originally called Playstuff Studios. Yeah, so we're kind of there with an understanding of what the basic premise of the game is, as far as me taking the role of the dumb fool needing educating. I think
there's some stuff that Eagle knows that would help you understand it a bit more. Also, I think.
No, for sure. I'm going to just show everyone on the stream the standard relativity screen. Standard relativity machine, rather. Here we go. Hopefully that's coming through now. Oh yes, that's looking mighty fine. We need a full screen of that. Let's take it right back. Lovely, lovely stuff. Okay, just concept stuff for people to understand. I now think I want to move to Eagle.
Yep.
He's been building the bulk of the engine so far. I don't know how much you and Sloth have been doing between you. I'll just let Sloth have a quiet smoke on his own there. But yeah, if you could kind of maybe just tell us a bit about, in whatever order you want to, really, mate. But what you're using what we're going to use to build the game. I mean, I can say Unity, but you can say it a lot more interestingly than me. And how far you've got so far, what you think the major hurdles are going to be, and whether we have the team to do it.
Well, firstly, we've definitely got the team to do it. It's we've got like so much support for this, and we've got some very talented people in Playstuff. So I don't think we're going to have a problem in that area, certainly.
Yeah.
So I'll talk a bit about what we're going to be using and how it's going to look to the user and stuff like that, because that's possibly the most important thing. We're going to use Unity 3D, which is relatively new in terms of 3D engines. I mean, it's been around a couple of years now. It's just starting to take off in terms of people, bigger developers using it to make games. I don't know if there's much to say about the engine itself, really. It's not anything particularly special, it's just another engine, but I don't know what to talk about in terms of the programming side of stuff. I mean, we've covered the concept of the game. There's tower defense mixed with a bit of real-time strategy. We've not really developed very much of it at the moment. We've gone through a bit of a prototyping thing where we've made a little bit of a level with just some cylinders moving across the screen and then towers shooting at it.
Yeah, yeah. You've been working on the basic mechanics of the towers, aiming and shooting and that kind of thing, and the variables that can be easily adjusted to keep them working as we want them to work.
Yeah, one interesting one was clicking on the plane to place down a tower, and you could clip them through each other, and they just float around in sort of a zero-G environment and spaz out a little bit. But that was interesting.
That was pretty cool. We'll hopefully have some video footage for the next about the game to give people a little bit more insight into the abstract concepts that we're kind of talking about at the minute. But yeah, I'll tell you what, Eagle, I'll just pass over to you to free flow as much as you like, and really just if you have anything to say that you think will keep the community up to date and advised on where we're going, where we hope to be in a month's time, for example, then that's all cool, man. Just really to bring them in, let them feel involved.
Alright, well, we've recently had a programming meeting discussing the various problems we might overcome in the first sort of prototype we're going to be making. I mean, our plan for the first prototype is to have something that people can play the core tower defense side of things. We're not getting into the real-time strategy quite yet, because that's something we can sort of put on top of our world when we build it. So it's mostly just going to be placing down towers and testing how do the towers feel like, what do we need to do to the mobs to make them feel like, are they fun to kill, and are they is it challenging enough, and things like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, these are questions we're going to be asking throughout the whole development, not just at the start, but it's good to ask them early and make sure you're not missing important things. I think the most important thing is it fun, which is a constant question we're going to be asking.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. What about multiplayer? I mean, what's the nature of it? Is it all going to be single player, or is it multiplayer co-op?
Well, we definitely plan to have it multiplayer at some point. It's not our first aim. Our first aim is just to get the single player defense of the town, and we had some brainstorming sessions where we talked about maybe splitting the town into quarters, and you could have like a co-op defense where say 4 people work on the city between them and defend it from all sides.
Yeah.
We've also talked about a more direct multiplayer where each player controls one of the cities that are attacking each other, and you basically attack the other player.
Right. Okay. Sounds interesting. That sounds challenging.
Yeah, we've not really discussed that very much, but from what from what I've sort of gathered of it, it would sort of fit into the Dota sort of crowd a little bit.
Yeah.
But very, very strategic, I would imagine.
Yeah, a bit more with our own sort of spin on things, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I can actually see that working rather well, to be honest.
Yeah.
If it were done right, it would be a case of each player balancing how much they want to upgrade their mob waves and how much they want to spend upgrading their towers and things like that. And it would essentially become a very strategic battle for resources. So, yeah, I think that's something we can definitely look into. But as you say, the main reason for answering the "do we want a multiplayer" question at this stage is purely from a coding perspective, because if we build the entire game, hard-coded to single player, then essentially we have to rewrite it if we want to have multiplayer later, which is, not what we want to be doing, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
No,
I mean,
sure.
although one of the advantages of Unity is the fact that it's all based on scripting, which you can assign to particular objects in the engine, so in theory it shouldn't be as difficult as other engines technically to make a multiplayer version. But obviously it's definitely something we'd want to consider from the offset when programming it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. I think it's kind of good that, I mean, from my perspective, in terms of why we started doing these hangouts or these kind of shows, why this is the first one, we wanted everyone to get a feel for how loose the kind of process can be at the beginning, and how it's about trial and error to a certain extent, especially till we get the first working prototype out and decide if the basic concept's fun to play. And it's kind of cool to hear that nothing's set in stone yet, but there's lots of ideas floating around.
There's the main core idea that we had of the tower defense with RTS elements. That's pretty much that's what we want to do. But there's all the little tiny bits of it that we're just gonna have to mess around with until there's something fun and playable.
Yeah, there's a lot of tweaking in terms of the little mechanics, like the economy and how much control you're going to give to the player in terms of the RTS stuff is another question, because you're going to make it more complex if you're going to give them a load of units and they've got to manage the towers. And but yeah, we're going to tweak these things as we go. So
yeah, cool.
I think it's good to give people watching a bit of an insight into how games development is at the start of a game. You don't really see this sort of thing. Like you might get little glimpses into alpha development stuff if you back a project or follow it closely, but it's very, very rare, I think, that you find open projects like this.
No, for sure. Well, I mean, it's certainly a first for me. I've developed software with my startup. I'm not plugged now, Love Fresh, but that's a very different process. I was used to writing out the user stories for how the user interacted with the software and what they got out of it, where they went with each click. But making a game's a whole different thing. One of the reasons why I think that Lem is a great person to be heading it, because he has the vision and has the ideas, and you guys here that have come tonight are going to be steering the way the game builds. There's plenty of more people on the team, of course. There's we've got graphics guys, we've got sound guys, 3D modelers, additional coders. We've got guys to do the website when we're ready, that kind of thing. So the team's pretty full. We hope to be adding more and more people to these Google Hangouts as the weeks go by, giving you the opportunity to ask more and more questions. Don't think anyone's asked me a question yet, but then nobody's asked me a question, not on there anyway. But then no one uses Twitter in our community, so here we go. Heads up, can you tell people to open up chat? Stupid me. I'm not sure what Osamo means. Open up chat. Oh, I see, so I can actually see chat. Right. Yeah. Osamo's asking, can we open chat up on Google Plus so that people can see what he's typing, which makes perfect sense. Trying to work out how chat works on Google. There you go. I think I'm
in the top left of your Hangout window. You should have a chat button.
Top left.
If you just click
chat.
that,
Oh my god! Look at it. It's full of
there you
stuff.
go.
Right. Okay. This is my face. Right. I'm just going to quickly scroll through this and try and catch up. I can add the picture on my screen. Yeah, I'm a little bit. Because of what I've got at the minute, I'm capturing a small portion of the screen just to make sure there's no kind of upload issues and stuff. I can capture your faces nice and easily. In terms of putting pictures up there, I kind of have to drag and drop them over the interface over where we are. So if I'm going to bring up a picture, for example, which I obviously aren't going to be able to find immediately. Anyway, I might be reading that from 10 minutes ago. Eagles DC'd.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah. Okay, I could use screen share. Oh, I see what you mean. So if I just click on screen share, I can. Gosh, yes, I can. I've got all sorts of options. Yeah. None of them are pictures. I think I've closed all of the pictures. But yeah, no, for sure, mate. Noted. I can do that in future.
Oh no, we did not talk about the map maker.
We haven't talked about the map maker. No, I was reading interesting stuff about that in the latest update on the forum. Do you want to tell us a bit about that? Where you plan to go with it?
I can say what I know. Yeah, that basically right now what we're going to do is that it's going to be something inside the engine, the actual game itself, where you place things on the grid, whether they're walls or pieces of the city or whatever you want to do. That's pretty much it. That's as far as I know. A lot of it's going to be a coding thing that I'm not going to have much to do with, but
yeah.
It's going to be inside the game. I'm pretty sure it's like you start up the game and you're going to be able to go to a map maker and make maps.
Okay.
And we're trying to decide whether or not we're going to put like limits on how many open tower spots we're going to be able to put, or if we're just going to be able to let people go crazy with it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, they're things that will come out of the initial beta out of alpha.
What's that, Sloth?
Sorry, like from a user perspective, the map maker will be fairly easy to use. I don't know if any of you have tried the map maker in, for example, Trackmania. But it'll be very similar to that in that you can just pick up preset blocks and arrange them sort of however you like. Mm-hmm. So it will be hopefully something that's easier to use than a normal map maker for Hammer, for example, which is it's a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. So it will be one of these things that hopefully Obviously, we'll be looking for a lot of creativity from people, but they will be working within, constraints, just because we don't want to put a technological barrier between people's visions of what maps they want to make and their ability to actually do it. So, hopefully we will have some contributors, and people like Equinoxo and the rest of our wonderful modeling team will be able to create more of these blocks as necessary. But this central idea is essentially to have blocks that can be arranged in creative and fun ways, as opposed to having to create raw terrain and deal with lighting issues and all the rest of the stuff that you sometimes get when trying to make maps for other games in Source or Unreal or whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, like the guys who are more deeply involved in the level design, especially the initial level design, they'll be able to go into Unity and design their own levels for the game at whatever level of detail they choose, and then import that into the game so that other people who want to be more casual about it can do it, as you're saying, using a block system to manipulate their existing assets. So I guess assets can be created regularly by the graphics team and thrown out there for the community to have a play with and use their imagination. Sounds good.
If I understand correctly, Eagle, you're back, right?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
My internet DC'd.
That's okay. From what I understand is that we're actually going to have certain blocks that we specifically create that will be that you'll be able to put towers on top of, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, well, I figured the idea would be creating particular blocks that are suitable for tower placement. I mean, whether we make them locked as such, which means that a player has to say send a unit there to clear it up before they can build a tower on it or something like that. I don't know. We can discuss that later, I guess. But it seems sensible to have particular blocks that they can place them on, because that makes it easier for the level designers, particularly, to make a sort of balanced level.
Right.
I'm just putting a picture of Eagle up now. He's a shy chap. I don't know why.
I'm not shy.
Yeah. Anyway, just amusing myself there. Right. Okay. So I personally got a better idea already of where we're going with the game. Hopefully,
good. Maybe you're a little less confused now.
I am a little less confused.
I don't think we need to do any more of these then.
Are we going to call the next episode "A Little Less Confused"?
I'm enlightened.
Well, I think that the next episode we'll get more of the team on board, and we'll get more ready prepared media to show the guys watching, so they can get a deeper insight into where we're going, how much progress we've made in the week, and also we'll kind of bullet point the things that have been agreed in the week by various meetings, so that people who weren't at the meetings can catch up and see what they need to be doing. So that's probably a good place to go now before we bring this first episode to a kind of natural conclusion. Where are the tasks lying? Who are you hoping will come up with some goods soon? What needs doing? What can people do to progress at this stage? Because I think, from my perspective as a kind of onlooker, I've been tweaking around with a bit of sound design and stuff, but it's kind of too early to do anything too concrete at this point in time, because we're still at such an early stage. What Eagle, you obviously are going away coding, getting the engine sorted. What do you need from people at this point in time, or do you think at this point we're really at the stage where we're waiting on the basic engine and the basic game design to be to mature a little bit before we can make good progress?
Well, I mean, it's probably going to be a little while before we've got anything playable in our hands, but I mean, there's no reason to say that we can't be doing sound design, making assets, textures, more concept art would be fantastic as well if we could do that.
I'll get a hold of Google.
I mean, all of that stuff's very useful. I mean, we're going to need some sort of placeholder stuff for when we're programming stuff. We're going to need to be able to use something to put in its place. But yeah, I think the next step is possibly the map maker side of things, because that's pretty much going to decide how the game is played, because we need the base maps to actually build anything on top of. So that's probably the biggest step.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we've got Boy Lee and Equinoxo and various people who are going to be stepping up to the plate for that. So giving them some guidelines for something you could do with quite soon. I know Boy Lee's just finishing off detailing his TF2 map for the competition, dynamic payload competition that TF2maps.net are running at the moment. But I guess once we stop distracting him with Counter-Strike Go, he'll have a bit more time, get that finished, and be gagging to get on working on this project. So yeah, I suppose just, I mean, even we've got basic 2D concept drawings of things. Just getting 3D models of a couple of a tower, you know, of one tower, and a couple of in-game characters would be pretty cool start, even if they're very roughly done.
Yeah, I mean, anything at this stage is contributing to the project. I mean, we've got virtually nothing really in terms of assets at the moment. So,
I mean, a little texture pack as well. You know, maybe 5 or 10 textures, one for the floor, one for structures. Even if they're very basic, at least it gives you something to throw onto. You know, the cylinders that you've got currently for towers, for example. Give them a little bit more. Give them a more shape and allow people to get a better idea of how things are done.
Yeah, I mean, in previous projects I've worked on like this, we've basically copied Valve and just had the developer textures like that, just basic squares, and stuck them on things. It gives a bit of an idea of scale and things. So
yeah, for sure.
Anything like that is good.
Makes sense.
Cool. Okay. Right, guys. I'm not going to drag this on longer than it needs to be dragged on. Is there anything else anyone wants to say about the project?
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. It is going to be awesome.
Eventually.
Eventually. Underlined.
Yeah, I mean, we're all.
I guess we should say that this is going to take a good fair amount of time, because we're all doing this pretty much on our free time. So
yeah, this is a hobby project, isn't it? We should stress that to people. We're not doing this to rush out a game. We're doing it to enjoy the process of making a game, which is why it seems sensible to have this kind of weekly or twice monthly or whatever takes our fancy, really, impromptu shows, just to keep everyone in the community up to date and to keep the rest of the team who maybe haven't been actively involved at particular stages in the project up to date. So no, that's all cool, man. I think if we start putting deadlines on people, it starts getting stressful and people stop enjoying it as much, which takes away every single reason for doing this. So yeah, no, I don't think we should be stressing ourselves over rushing things.
Another thing about it is I think all gamers think they make a game, don't they? Everyone's got strong opinions about the games they play, and everyone thinks they could do a good job of it. And I think part of the fun of this project is the fact that it's open to our whole community, you know, and anyone can have their say, and it all gets, you know, put into this massive brainstorm, and you know, what comes out hopefully will be a good game, you know. So
yeah, for sure. Cool stuff. Well, I'm going to wrap it up there. I think we've covered the basics. It's a good start for our first show. We'll maybe get some of the production tweaks and issues sorted for next week or next fortnight, whenever we feel it's appropriate to have another little session, another about the game. But thanks for joining us, guys, and thanks everyone who's watching the VOD on YouTube, on the forum, or whatever. But for now, cheers to Sloth, cheers to Eagle, cheers to Lemmines, cheers to Osemo for turning up tonight.
Bye-bye.
And giving everyone a little bit of an insight into the Playstuff Studios development process and the game that we're aiming to make. So from me, Logan, good night, and we'll catch you soon. Cheers.
Good night.
Hey, people.